That's wild. Wow, quite a gem, you know. Today I'm going to explore the Malibu area, starting with the Cistern Trail. I got off trail on accident, some sort of little mini peak here, but the water there looks amazing. Wow, pretty wild. So you have this really nice dam structure here, very beautiful. There were a few people hanging out just by the lake, but you know, figured I'd get some footage. So I just decided to relax for a little bit. Now I'm gonna go wading up there, and it looks like there are some Lotus type things, these yellow flowers. It'll be neat to see what those look like up close. Some of this is very deep, you know, so I do have some waterproofing stuff, you know, for my phone, not so much for my keys, but I think I'll be fine. They've gotten wet before. So yeah, anyways, definitely a deeper area than it looks. Oh. This is one of the many lotuses, water lilies, whatever they are, we're going to see. And yeah, here's a nice little view of that in the dam. A lot of lily pads here. So pretty wild. I bet we're gonna, you know, I know that there are crawdads further down that way and bullfrogs, but I'm curious what we'll find further up here. So I had to do some reorganizing. I got my keys in here and then my wallet and some other things in another pack, you know, with some tissue paper and stuff. So hopefully it all kind of stays dry. You know, anyways, I think I do want to keep trying to wade up, but yeah, at least right along the banks here, generally speaking, at least, you know, back there, pretty deep. Right now it's actually kind of on the shallow side, so we'll see if this persists. Got lotuses like this one, if it is in fact a lotus, and a lot of them here, you know, real beautiful, definitely deep in the water, but yeah, amazing area, very vibrant color, you know, bright yellow. And yeah, so far I haven't really gone all that far though, so what I may try to do is make my way back up onto land and then kind of poke around sections of the creek. I may try to go out here just a little further though, just to get a few photos. Very nice area. Yeah, this is just really a beautiful area. Lots of flowers here. Very swampy though. But yeah, nonetheless, it'll be fun to explore this creek. But yeah, flowers were nice, but I worry that me trudging through here may destroy them. So I'm not gonna do that too much more. Anyways, it does sort of look like there's an easy access point up here. For a little bit it was very deep and slippery, but yeah, I could definitely get up this. Perhaps it's obvious that I did not make plans today, but yeah, I'm bushwhacking through sections that have a bunch of this stinging nettle, and you want to avoid touching it, you know, it'll give you this kind of hives-like rash. So here's some more of it. I think so far I've been doing a good job. A little more here, but a machete would have been nice. That being said, I don't know how comfortable people who are visiting this park would be with me with a machete. We are kind of in the Malibu area, so I don't really know. Yeah, real thick back there, lots of nettles. So what I think I'm gonna do is make my way back to the trail, which is right over there, and see if I can kind of reconnect going upstream, I think. Yeah. So I'm at the creek again, this pedestrian bridge, and it does kind of look semi-shallow here. A little tempted to kind of go around this way and just see how that works out. So it does look a little stagnant here, which isn't necessarily a problem, but there does sort of seem to be an animal trail following the creek. So I might just take that for a ways and kind of poke down here and there when I can. Another creek point, not too deep here at all really, and we do have the bullfrog tadpoles. So I'm not sure if you're seeing this, but yeah, here's one of them, you know, and there's another one there. So yeah, I may get a photo or two of this guy and let him go. All right, I got a few pictures. I think I'm just gonna set this guy down and yeah, let him swim off. I think I'm gonna take this little trail and just poke around further out here. Yeah, it was cool to catch the bullfrog tadpoles. But anyways, yeah, there's this guy Ethan who made a video out here, I think sort of recently. Has a cool channel, and yeah, someone in that video did wind up catching a big bullfrog. So anyways, yeah, this section of the creek looks pretty dry here, so I might keep going the way I was going. So I think I saw something, yeah, nice right around here, at least semi-nice. So we definitely have some trout. That trout might be a bass. Yeah, maybe that's a bass. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe like a small bass, but yeah, anyways, a little murky here. But aside from that, definitely a lot more shallow than the other area further back that way. So I might try to wade up this a little ways. Yeah, the water level here, you know, about waist, a lot better than it was near the dam. Now, if I wanted to, I probably could go deeper. It's hard for me to tell right now, but that's probably head deep, maybe, I don't know. But on the sides, you know, the banks here, it's fine, and it's getting shallower at the moment. So yeah, I've seen a bunch of bullfrog tadpoles here just now. A few things kind of jumping, some fish, potentially a bass. Look more like a bass than a trout. But yeah, anyway, let's see how this persists further down that way. All right, a little less frothy. More of these, well, they're a different kind of yellow flowers than the lily pads, but it looks like we do have a tiny frog hopping around. It's a real highly vegetated / muddy, boggy environment here. So yeah, you know, you're near maybe in a state park, but still pretty wild even out near Malibu. I know this is like a crawdad area, but I had not been seeing too many crawdads until now. And this is not a crawdad by any means, but it's part of a crawdad. So yeah, anyways, I'll keep my eyes peeled. I think there are probably going to be some near the rock pools if I wind up going there, but we'll just have to see. All right, didn't take too long to grab one, you know, and very, very vibrant red now, you know. There are actually quite a few I can just see right now here and here. So, you know, as I was coming up from there, I did see quite a few in this area. So they seem to really like the reeds here. But yeah, I'm gonna keep making my way further up. Gonna let this guy go in a second after I get a few photos as always. And I might try to catch one or two more if it's easy enough. Proud of catching my first crawdad at Malibu Creek. You know, this is really my first time here, and one of these days I'll do a little catch and cook probably, like I've done out in Tahunga and Malibu Creek. But for now, yeah, I'm gonna let this guy go. So anyways, yeah, let's put him in maybe this set of reeds this time. All right, buddy, I'm gonna sit you there, and pretty sure you'll make it back. Yeah, anyways, yeah, there are a few more here I might try to snag if I can. All right, this is crawdad number 2 here, and I just gotta say, you know, this was easy to catch because there are so many. Let me try to point, yeah, just back here, you know, like I can even just, maybe you can see that one, there's one there, you know, and I just kind of, to get this guy, I just sort of waved my hand around in the reeds until I felt something and then snagged him, you know. So I don't know, I mean, I don't know how this is all throughout Malibu Creek, but that was actually really easy to catch. And this is even a deep section too, so it's about maybe, I don't know, waist deep, not somewhere where I would generally try to like dive for them, but nonetheless, yeah, pretty easy to find. This guy's definitely got some pretty big pincers, you know, so he was flexing them for a bit. Now he's just kind of in a, you know, his cross arm position per se. But yeah, I'm gonna let him go again on the opposite side of the creek. Alrighty, just set you there. And yeah, let's I mean, I could catch crawdads here all day, you know, may or may not grab one more, but I think I want to kind of make my way further up. Pretty nice spot, you know. So FYI, you know, I have seen a bunch of bullfrog tadpoles too, and I heard, I think, like 2 bullfrogs jumping in the water. Sometimes they're hard to spot in the daytime, you know. If you come out here or a similar spot at night with kind of a bright flashlight, it's not too hard to just stun them with the light and pick them up. I have a few examples of that. Maybe I could show you in the video here, but yeah, anyways, I have seen video of people catching them during the day, as I mentioned before, and if I'm lucky, I may too. Anyways, not sure if that'll happen, but let's keep going. Kind of came in on the side on this one, and I do hear some hikers, so there might be a trail over there. I can kind of reconnect that. But yeah, I'm gonna actually poke around down this way and then backtrack upstream. This is definitely a trail, and I hear some people up that way. I might go this way briefly. and then head back this way. I think I definitely came from over there. So I think Malibu Creek actually keeps flowing from up there, you know, so I'm probably gonna turn around soon. So this is the trail, and I'm very confident that I was wading up this one at some point. So if you do wanna go kind of where I was, just kind of take the trail that follows Malibu Creek, and yeah, you'll stumble upon really beautiful sights like this one. Yeah, didn't know I could just keep going on the trail and I'd get all this. For a comment, oh, ooh, crawdad, maybe I'll grab it. I was gonna say something. Caught a crawdad, dropped my phone. The audio might be bad, but anyways, yeah, need to find, and hopefully my phone dries out pretty quickly so I can get good video for y'all and good audio. So I think there's a bunch of spots here related to like Hollywood movies. So, you know, I was mostly just going up the creek, up that way, but yeah, you know, we got a whole area. I think there was like maybe a movie filmed here. So you got these ruins here, you know, looks like kind of army stuff, potentially some sort of outdoor bunkery thing. I think I'm actually going the wrong way, you know, so this says I think 2.1 miles to the visitor center. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know where I am. It's okay because I'm exploring and I'll find my way back regardless. But yeah, I think I'm gonna backtrack a little ways, and I think that should be where the water pools are. Yeah, and I'm hoping the audio is actually better than I think it is. I'm not sure if when I'm playing back the audio after getting my phone wet, if it's the actual recording audio or the speaker. So we'll see about that. Anyways, yeah, I think I'm gonna keep, I'm gonna backtrack that way, because I think just thinking about where I was in context with everything, it felt right. And the spot I was at, actually, I don't really remember the exact spot where I caught the crawdads bushwhacking, so I think I've just kind of kept going up the creek. Just, you know, it gets weird, you get a little disoriented and all that. But we'll see how this works out. There were some people checking this out on the way up, but yeah, got this little vehicle here. I think it was also part of the movie. Yeah. Just revisiting the creek, and it's obvious that I was jogging upstream instead of downstream, which something I should have checked, you know, but fortunately I didn't go very far. You know, and there was that sign. If there wasn't that sign, I could have maybe just kept going until I noticed. But yeah, this is a pretty flat trail right alongside a creek that's not flowing very much. So yeah, just a reminder, always try to orient yourself and make sure you're going the right way. This looks very familiar, you know, and I'm just curious about what views we get here. I don't have a lot of time to really explore this a whole lot, but I'm just gonna try to get one good view. We'll see how it is. Oh, a little bit of wading, but definitely shallow compared to what I was doing near the dam. And it does sort of look like we'll get a nice view right over here, you know, so give it a sec. Wading here is actually very doable, you know, at least at this stage. So I think I'm gonna keep trying to go out, but nothing too extreme. This does get exceptionally deep at some point. I always knew Malibu Creek would be neat to explore, but I really didn't realize how awesome this would be. You know, it really reminds me of like sections of Piru Creek. So I think what I may do at this stage is just keep waiting for a bit. You know, I'm about, you know, belly high, give or take. Once it really starts to feel deep though, I might, you know, head back. This is pretty insane. I think it's starting to get a little too deep for me to feel good about persevering through this, but I'll be back at some point with more waterproof gear. But yeah, really beautiful. I didn't really prepare too much, you know, for this trip. I had some idea of what to expect, and I do have like this for my phone and my keys, but I feel like next time I come, I'll try to go lighter and just heavier on the waterproofing. I don't really have a lot in my backpack, but I did bring snacks. I'm not gonna be hungry at all today, at least on this trip. So I can kind of hear what sounds like a party going on up in that canyon. At least a lot of people having fun. I'm gonna go check it out very briefly, but I'm not sure how much footage I'll actually get. Anyways, yeah, let's go see what's going on down there. Wow, so I'm gonna try to keep going up that way just a little bit. All right, swam through the swimming hole with a bunch of people. Now the plan is to just kind of explore this. I'm gonna do it safely, you know, but I think it'll be cool. We'll see how it goes. I may be able to keep going up this way, but I do first want to show you all this cave right near the water holes. So yeah, anyways, a little bit of water here, but this thing is quite the cave, you know. Very shady, very deep. It's like a rock fall cave, I guess. And I'll get a photo there actually. That's real nice. All right, let's see if we can get a view of the people jumping in from over here. I might have just set my phone down real quick. Got this guy climbing up here. Anyways, let's go this way. For me, it wasn't actually too hard to bypass that steep section, but that being said, very dangerous, do at your own risk. A lot of people back there, essentially no one up here. There are a few little deep pools. Not really sure what we're gonna find, but I'd like to try to make my way at least up to the base of the dam, give or take. Now that may be possible, it may not, but we'll find out soon. Wow, that's pretty wild. We have some canyoneer types over here, but yeah, just look at these crazy canyon walls. Pretty insane. This is crazy, yeah. All right, I think it's gonna be a scramble up here for a bit. That's what they said. So we'll see what happens. That's wild. So I guess this is kind of a narrow section, just past those rock pools at Malibu State Park. So I ran into some rock climbers who said that it's mostly just a scramble up to the dam. And if I made it up here, it should be not too bad going further up. However, they did also say that they had never been up to the dam themselves, so we'll see if that's legit. Anyways, yeah, lots of nice pools here, and I don't remember exactly how far it is, but I don't know, I think it'll be quite the adventure. Over here is really cool because you got this deep cave area, you know, it's pretty wild actually, just with the water. Wow. So I wasn't even really actually planning on doing this. Just kind of instinctively decided, hey, you know, why not? Let's just add this onto the trip. And sure enough, these really big, you know, cave areas just formed by all these boulders. So I'm gonna have to get a photo or two here. I hope the audio is actually turning out okay, because this is quite a gem, I'm not gonna lie. Over the years, a lot of people have suggested, even with the YouTube videos, that I do check out the Santa Monica's more. And I gotta say, you know, I've been really missing out. So, wow, look at this emerald pool here. Yeah, you know, just every turn. I'm gonna get a little video maybe of me swimming in this. I could jump into this one actually, you know. I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I just kind of want to get up, but that's deep. I'll at least get some footage of me swimming maybe. Yeah, quite a gem, you know. I'm gonna try to balance my little phone against that rock there, and I'll just get myself like treading in water here maybe. I think that's always nice to do. All right, this is really quite a gem, you know. So I'm gonna try to safely balance the phone against this rock, and yeah. A little bit of sunshine, a little bit of shade, all in all, quite a nice pool, you know. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, you know, there were two other things that I was thinking about doing. I'll just say what they are. One of them was like doing a longer trip out to the big Narrows and Los Padres. The other was just like another kind of run along the East Fork, the West Fork of the San Gabriel River. There's some spots I wanted to explore there for a bit, but I kind of got up late. I figured the parking might be a little hectic there, so I decided to do this. And yeah, the beginning was neat, but I gotta say, this is kind of like the second half of the trip. And yeah, this is just really magical. I'm happy I decided to climb above the big kind of party area, and I'm happy I decided to check it out. You know, a lot of people are having fun there, cliff jumping, you know, climbing the rock walls, swimming, a lot of good kind of family friendly stuff. And I do like that sort of thing if I'm like with a group of friends or just kind of hanging out. But when I'm doing my like kind of solo exploring trips like this, little hidden gem pools like this are always a treat, you know. And I gotta say, I think this is my favorite of the day so far. Yeah, it's a nice big pool in a cave. So all these giant boulders really actually create these nice swimming areas. So yeah, woo! Not bad. I noticed that I hadn't dipped my head in yet despite swimming around in the pool, so I had to do that. This has been a nice experience. So you know, I've done some stuff in the Santa Monica's, but you know, for everyone who's really kind of suggested I explore this area more, go up some of the creeks, you know, I'm gonna do more of that, I promise. And this really, it's probably one of my favorite trips I've done here. I have a few other spots that I'm planning on doing. I'm not gonna say what that is. Sorry. But I'm not gonna do them today. I'm gonna try to park at this one area and access Malibu Creek in another spot. You know, I have a lot of potential ideas that could be fun here. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna keep going further up there and see if I can make it to the dam. And yeah, I'm curious about what else I'll find. Before I get going further up, I just gotta say, this little cave pool, again, phenomenal. And a lot of good spots on the creek, you know, but I gotta say, so like, yeah, the scramble is not super sketchy in my opinion, but if you don't know what you're doing, please stay safe. You know, I'm not really trained to do this, but it doesn't really matter. I do this all the time, and I know like what are safe routes for me. I can really kind of see the rocks and make good decisions usually just by the fact that I'm surviving these, you know, but yeah, you know, it is a bit of a scramble, but yeah, I wouldn't say there was any time where I really felt like it was dangerous. I'm gonna keep, for me, I'm gonna keep going up though, and we'll see if we can get to the dam. One last little look at this pool. Definitely has a better glimmer to it over there, but still nice. I think I also murkied it up, but yeah, let's get going up here. The creek back there, really narrow and bouldery. What I would say is the creek is still flowing a little bit here, but a lot less narrow and a lot smaller boulders. So anyways, I don't know where exactly the dam is, how far away I am, but I'll keep you posted. We should be there soon. Been doing a good amount of bushwhacking, wading, stuff off trail, but surprisingly, these are my first Humboldt lilies of the day. I have seen a bunch of them blooming in the San Gabriels and other spots recently, but nice to see out in the Santa Monica's. So anyways, yeah, I hope I'm close to the dam. I really have no idea, but we're gonna keep moving forward. Someone lost their kayak. I found it. Might be hard to get back, but anyways, yeah, this is looking real nice, and I think it may start to get narrow around there. It amazes me how just back there, there's like, I don't know, must be like 50 to 100 people together enjoying the river, which is nice. But I go a little bit further and I haven't seen a single person here. This is pretty secluded and very beautiful. You know, it's a little sketchy to get to, but all in all, not too bad. Yeah, this is just really magical. Very peaceful area, so grateful to be here. I worry it might be getting a little deep. Yeah, if it gets much deeper than chest high, I may have to swim. I'm gonna try to get to the bank real quick and see if that's any better. Looks like another kayak behind me, crushed against the trees here, you know, and yeah, all right, I guess we do have another pool-like thing after all. Another beautiful pool along Malibu Creek, or maybe just a deep ponded off section of Malibu Creek. You know, not really ponded there, but yeah, quite ponded off here. Looks like we're getting into some of these rocky narrows-like sections again here. So we'll probably get some scrambling and some nice pools here and there. Anyways, don't really know what to expect though. Another section of a little kayak. I feel like this is where lost boats go to perish. Yeah. Amazing deep pool here. Nice little canyon walls. Looking forward to exploring this section. So I'm actually able to stand here. Not sure how long that'll be, but anyways, yeah, these canyon walls look really wild. The cliffs look pretty awesome. Ooh. And yeah, I'm gonna get the phone in the bag though for this one as I cross. I don't know, you got a lot of deep rocks on the base here, and sometimes they just drop right off. So good to be able to swim if I need to. Not super obvious, but kind of a technical section there. The hope is that, I think I'll be fine, but I want to make sure I can down climb everything I up climb, and that wasn't too bad. But if there are more spots like that, I think I may turn back before the dam. Wow, another nice pool, a little murky, but these canyon walls, really insane here. I was wading quite a bit here. Might have to do some more wading, but it looks like there's like a tiny waterfall there and then good amount of climbing. So if I was gonna turn back, it would probably be here, but let's take a closer look. All right, well, this really did creep up on me kind of in the sense that I just kind of came up and over these rocks and all of a sudden I saw the dam. So that being said, pretty nice. There's kind of a pond here. Not sure if I'm gonna go in there at the moment. Might purify some water or something. And then what I might try to do is like just rock hop up and around the dam and see if I can like reconnect to like a trail or something. I think there is a trail that kind of comes in on this side. Not 100% sure, but yeah, I didn't actually go to the dam and look down, but this looks like not too challenging for me. So yeah, let's try to do that on the way back. I think that'll save time and be a lot more safe than returning that way. I am kind of worried about, the time it'll take back and some of the sketchier up climbs. There are probably safer ways in certain sections, but there were a few where, I really had to pack my stuff up to use all my hands, like my water bottle. I'm not holding that anymore, but I'm keeping this in my pocket. Although ultimately, I'd say, at least for someone like me, mostly a scramble, nothing really too dangerous. There are some really deep wading sections though, so being smart about the waterproofing in advance would be good. However, that being said, I did check and I think the bag with my wallet's dry, so I'm happy about that. Got my water bottle for purification out. Yeah, I just wanted to point out too that you got a lot of grass just growing on the edges of the dam here from below, so I think that's really cool. And yeah, I'm gonna try to either purify water from here or here. This is probably all right, but it just does look a little murky, so we'll see how this is. Quick little taste test here. Yeah, I'd say it tastes pretty fresh, That being said, a lot of little fish here. I did see some big ones. Might be hard to film, but maybe I'll give it a shot. All right, so here you see a bunch of little fish at the moment. Maybe. Not sure if you can see them. Can you see them? Yeah, you probably can. There are certainly some bigger ones here. I did actually see a bullfrog swimming around, but what I'll say from this trip so far is I've actually seen quite a few bass here. So might be a good bass fishing place. Further up, and also I think in the creek here too, if I remember correctly. But yeah, also ton of crawdads here. Maybe not so much in this pool, but like coming up from there, yes, there are loads and loads of crawdads. I caught some earlier on, so I didn't really catch any more, but they're kind of everywhere here. Not gonna lie. All right, I'm making my way back up the Cistern Trail to where I parked, and I gotta say, if there's one thing you shouldn't try that I've put in my videos, it's getting up and around that dam. Honestly, if you do that, make enough time so you can do it on like a day trip or something like that, I just sort of did this as a recon thing, and it did turn into a longer trip. Not necessarily distance-wise, but definitely experience-wise. A lot of cool things here. Saw a lot, learned a lot. And yeah, anyway, it's time to jog up.